manifold. You'd be shocked how far out he was. The head's also been bolted, so be a nice seal. All the ones I can reach with the torque wrench, I'm going to torque to 25 Newton meters. If I can't reach them, I will just do them with a spanner. Manifolds on and torqued. Just a tip when you're timing yours. There's little prongs on the pulley and there's a hole on the block. You want to line them up on the head, and you also want to, as I've shown in a previous video, get the bottom crank a certain way so that you can fit a little pin through this hole and into the flywheel. That's the way that you get the timing set, and you can just stick the belt on, and then I'm going to torque with the new pulley. So it's starting to look like an engine bay again, and it looks like quite a nice one too. I painted the rocker covers in moonstone blue, which is the colour of the Peugeot, so it's a matching colour, and I think it looks really good. I put etch primer on the rocker covers and I clear coated, so the finish isn't perfect, but I've never really sprayed before, so I think for the first go it looks pretty good. disaster. I've snapped this, well I haven't snapped the stud, but the stud's weld wasn't very good and it's just come out. So it's a bit of a bummer because I can't really get access to the other side of the stud. So it's all got to come back off. The manifold's got to come off and the turbo. So that is annoying, but it's in position now. So while it's here and it's dry and I've got a day off work, I'm going to just position the radiator. I'm going to cut some of the panels here so that I can get the radiator to fit, even though the turbo is protruding so far. I'll probably have it at like a 10-degree angle just to get the bottom of the radiator to clear this. I'm also going to weld the intercooler brackets in today and hopefully fit the intercooler. So I'm going to do that because this can be done any day, whereas I don't have a garage, so I've got to weld on a nice day when I know it's not going to rain when I'm doing the brackets. So I'm going to do that today. I want the radiator usually sits here and it's absolutely parallel with this, but on the inside. Because the turbo's here, I want to move the radiator forward, but in doing that I can't do that because the radiator will poke out so high that it will actually come out the top of the bonnet and the bonnet won't close. So the only way to get it to fit is to have the top here and then it come down on a slight angle. Or I could spend a couple of £100 on a different size radiator, which would be about this big if I wanted to keep the chassis uncut. But I did want to keep it uncut, but looking at it now, it's so easy just to get the radiator to fit. There's no point me buying another one. So I'm going to make a little cut here and maybe a little cut on the other side, just so that the radiator has the clearance to fit through. I did bend this back with the mole grips. I've since bent it back straight and I know that it will clear, so I'm not just randomly cutting into the car. So I'm going to make the cut and then I'm going to paint up the cuts with some moonstone blue just to keep the car looking presentable and rust free. So I'll crack on with that. Here we can see the cut in action. I don't actually have to cut the other side. So just a little cut there, just to allow that to come through. I might space it out a bit more. No, actually I won't, because I can just move the radiator to the right a little more to give it a bit more clearance. If we look down the back, we can see that the turbo's not touching the radiator. So what I'm thinking of doing is, here, where the little prongs are, I'm going to just weld some little brackets on there underneath, and then the prongs can sit in the holes, and the same on the other side. And then I'll take the radiator out and then I'll do the same sort of thing. Maybe they need to come here, come out a bit further to here, wherever, and then I'll mount the intercooler in front of the radiator. So we can see here the little brackets are in place. They've got a hole in, the radiator is sitting through, and the same on the other side. The radiator is not contacting the turbo, so I can see now that this is a perfect place to mount the radiator brackets. I might move them back a couple of mil if possible, just because the space simply isn't needed. There's like over an inch of space down there, it doesn't need to be that much. Try and get the radiator sitting as flat as possible, but apart from that, I'm going to do that, get them in position, then take the radiator out, leaving the mounts and weld them. radiators out. They're the perfect places for the brackets. Just weld them up. I just fit the radiator onto the brackets that I welded. These are the little brackets, and it fits snug as a bug. I might trim that down a bit more because I can see it's contacting, and that's not a big deal though. Take me a couple of minutes, and it's not contacting the turbo, so it's been a success today. So imagine that comes up more when it's not contacting. It'll pretty much be in the same sort of position it was from the factory, just giving me another couple of inches of clearance. So now I'm going to stick some brackets under there, and I'm going to weld the intercooler brackets on. Friend who's actually a lot more intelligent than people give him credit for. He's suggested that I cut a little notch out here, place the stud in, and then weld it. It won't affect the flange in any way because this part isn't even a sealing part. So I thought I'd give his idea a go. I might cut it a bit higher, and then when I put the stud in, I'll just whack the welder on max power just so I can get some good penetration. A little channel in the top of this stud, so when I put it in the hole, I can get a good weld, hopefully, to the other side. So there's the channel in the middle. You can see right through. It's still going to be pretty strong because there's a solid piece of metal either side. Me done for today. I did repair the manifold. The rocker covers are on. The timing belt is timed. The rust has been repaired. The coil pack is installed, and the brackets have been installed and welded. I actually removed this one, and then I've had to patch it back up, and I'll paint it with moonstone just to make it look a bit better, because it wasn't really doing anything, that mount. It was just flopping around. It didn't have the rigidity that I needed. While it's perfectly stable on its own, just with the bottom brackets, I did just put this on as well. It's just a metal zip tie with a bolt here clamped down so it doesn't go anywhere. And this is just if I'm ever on track, you know, or I have a massive sort of shock to the car, just to give it a little bit of extra support. But as you can see, the bottom brackets are very sturdy on their own. So I'm just going to pack away now.